what have you been saying about the top stories and the trends? Jeffrey joins me as we walk through the very interesting roads of X.
Yeah, they're interesting. And of course, you know and trust Nigerians will raise alarm when there needs to be a raising of alarm. And where they're raising alarm is this embarrassing, protracted issue that there was a point it wasn't a big issue at some point. Now it has resurfaced, which is has to do with the fuel scarcity. So let's get straight to it. Gridlock, queues as fuel scarcity hits Lagos. Lagos is always, I don't know. That's it. That's what you're saying. This is Lagos. Which area is this again, Kayode?
Well, this is the Alakbere area.
It's Alakbere, yeah.
Area of Lagos. And
inbound Lagos.
I think it's important to...
Outbound Lagos, actually.
Yeah, outbound Lagos. The challenge now is traffic, gridlock. And you see some of the fuel queues having up to 3 lanes. In fact, if you're heading towards your Tedola Bridge, there's a prominent filling station there. You'd see that the queues have like 3 lanes, so you can imagine the traffic, because that's outbound Lagos. That's a highway, so it's usually busy, and you just wonder, people have to go through stress to get petrol, and they're going through stress just to ply those routes as well. This is a terrible combination.
Yeah, on my way I saw the queues as well in my area, but let's hear what you are saying concerning this. And don't forget, you can send it to us as well. This video, send it to us. Let's find out exactly what's going on in your area. Coco_CLE, we have been suffering here in the FCT for over a month. So your own is long-term, long suffering.
I can confirm that. And again, Jeffrey, I should say that the fuel scarcity never really went away, right? Because for the past 2 months, at least now, there are filling stations you just gamble and say, do they have petrol on them? And that never used to be the case. You take it for granted, drive into a filling station, buy petrol, but that's not the case. In the nation's capital, it's also the same thing. So
I was going back, I was returning, I was going home from work. I just saw a filling station open and I had to fill my tank immediately. We shouldn't be doing that at this level as a country, but this is the reality we're facing. Kayode, you have the next one.
Biomi says, repeatedly embarrassed report of fuel scarcity nationwide shall come to an end. This user says, as you can see, we've got the best set of politicians in the country's history. President was formerly senator, his wife VP, SP, COS, etc. Where were the conceptualizers and creative problem solvers of Nigeria then? Okay, so I don't know if this is sarcasm. The point is, they're leaders in power who should resolve these issues. So you wonder, what are they doing if they're not resolving these challenges? That's the question.
All right, Kele Chineke says, laugh out loud, they should also bring fuel along so they can just give to the people and they will leave to their office and places of work. All right, wonderful. So we're not done with the fuel scarcity.
Let's go over to, this threat by the federal government to withdraw marketers' licenses over hoarding. So it's a multifaceted issue. So there may be hoarding in some areas, right? There are people who are maybe selling to those who now sell as black marketers. There are people who are just gouging the price for no reason, taking advantage of a terrible situation. And there are those who legitimately don't have supply. Right, and I think that is a major challenge. But take a look at what this user says. Shala Thani says, FGN should activate its monitoring team to inspect marketers' tank farms or petrol stations. The truth is that marketers can't import with devalued naira and sell at a loss. So this user is essentially given a breakdown of another angle to this one.
So at the end of the day, you know, there's been the back and forth about bad fuel, off-spec fuel being imported into Nigeria, high sulfur content, specifications not meeting up with the octane level, because on all of that debate around Dangote and whether NNPCL has enough reservoir for moments like this. So that's why, and these guys, call them to come and talk. It's like a difficult conversation. So we're calling out NNDPRA, NUPRC, everybody, NNPCL. You guys need to
speak to the people you are accountable to.
It's not just writing releases.
Yeah. So there's this part I didn't take, and it's quite important. It says, now that FG's revenue has skyrocketed, it should be ready to sell dollars to oil marketers at reduced rates. So that's some sort of subsidy, which is said to be happening right now already with the NNPCL. So is this a way forward? Who knows?
Well, FG revenue may be skyrocketing, but I understand maybe NNPC is also having issues with cash. But they will explain. That's why we say, come, let's have a conversation. Recreate underscore yourself. Gaslighting as usual. Hoarding is a symptom of inadequate supply. Once supply is adequate, hoarding becomes a waste of money. Nobody hoards water, recharge card, etc. You know why? Supply is unlimited. Tinubu government should do their work and stop looking for excuses. And again, sometimes you're wondering whether this is a bit of a harbinger or a backdoor to increasing pump price at the end of the day. Because what we realize in this space is that when these things happen, you notice that pump prices go up. Right. It's from 650. I bought one day 710 and then 750.
Just 800, 900.
And then I think we asked the Petrol president. He said no, it's not. But it looks like this is a game at the end of the day.
But they also say that it's been deregulated anyway. But this user, Humanity First, says, I laugh whenever they start talking about hoardings. This is the point that you're just making. In a free market where there's freedom of entry and exit, you don't need to tell anybody to hoard. They want to sell and make money. That's why they open business in the first instance.
So it appears to us that all of the deregulation and what we call liberalization of the market is really not full blast. There's some level of control and management for the social. Well, let's move to the next one. Which one is this one now? Nigeria remains backward because of the self-centered leaders, according to
former President
former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Let's take your thought. This is a long one. We may not be able to take everything. Imara Ho says, all humans have the tendency of being self-centered if allowed to act without boundaries and control. No country should allow its fate and future depend on random goodwill and emotions. Kaya, do you have next one?
Yeah, just from Chidi Godson, we also see your comment on this one, saying being self-centered is not bad because Nigeria is a country of diversity in ethnicity and tribes. Okay, but let's see how you maneuver this. Whether we like it or not, there is no way Yoruba man or woman will ignore his fellow kingsmen or man to an Igbo man. Unless we realize this and move forward in terms of division. And I think these are narratives that maybe will further deepen the issue. Being self-centered, I think in that context is thinking of yourself rather than the common good. Okay, as a leader, I mean, a leader is there not to enrich his or her pocket. A leader is there to serve the people. So if you're in a position of authority at any level, and what you're thinking about is how I can make money from this, how I can corner the funds, then you are a problem to Nigeria, and you should not be in that position.
Absolutely. So I think, do we have time for one more?
Yeah, just
that Nigeria 6. I think we should go to that one. Nigeria 6. Which one did you look at? I've seen the one you read. Nigeria 6 500 million naira dollars, I should say,
yeah,
loan from the World Bank to support new health initiative. So there has been this policy of government, and we spoke to Professor Pate about some of the reforms he's bringing into the health sector. But all of this has to be cash driven and fund driven.
Money is
money at the end of the day. It's not just talking. Pojo with numbers says, while borrowing 795 billion from foreigners, I guess you wanted to say why, when we Nigerians can only actually sort ourselves out. The single bank raised 127 billion in this same country within 45 days. Why is it that our leaders like enslaving us? So that's his own position.
Yeah, so this money is going to different channels. By the way, this bank you referenced raised 127 billion. What Nigeria is trying to borrow is 795.
That's almost a trillion.
Yeah, so our money doesn't just go to one channel. If we focus our attention and say, okay, let's put all the money in health, what about other areas? So that's why sometimes you see these borrowings happening. Whether or not it is right is another thing entirely. So we leave the jury out.
They say it's not a problem. It's utilization of the funds borrowed. That has always been the problem.
Challenge. Shinam, Adinga _Shinam says, what is Nigeria really borrowing? With plenty question marks. It's paper money, or is it paper money or digital digits?
Or digital digits.
Okay.
I don't know.
Why does Nigeria concentrate on borrowing and leave human efficiency? So I think maybe this talks about the efficiency in terms of borrowing, but there's a need to have a conversation, at least at the community levels, on how funds are borrowed and used, and that's where communication comes in. If these people do not come out to speak, then people will go to town with all the postulations. Jeffrey.
All right, so this one has to do with that very bill that was proposed by the Speaker of the House on, calls it the counter subversion bill. There were so many clauses, provisions in that bill that Nigerians were not comfortable with, one of which was refusing to recite the national anthem with the intent of a couple of things he said in that bill will earn you a fine and even a prison time. And the people did not find it funny. Nigerians came at him, and he did the honorable thing by withdrawing that bill. Some of us are saying he should even add an apology to that bill, but he's within his right. He has done the honorable thing. Nigerians are reacting to this. Abdulrasheed Ajia says it's disturbing that the government even considered punishing citizens for not singing the national anthem in the first place. This move reveals a troubling desire to control Nigerian citizens' thoughts and action and raises so many questions about the state of democracy and individual liberties in this country.
Jeffrey, interesting debate.
Yep.
Okay, and let me bring it out. So the question has been, why didn't you want to recite the national anthem? Nobody's asking them to, that's what the people who are for this say. Nobody's asking them to sing On Your Mandate We Shall Stand, or APC anthem, or Labour Party anthem, or PDP anthem. It is the anthem of Nigeria, a country that is that you are expected to be in full support of. Country, not the politicians or the political parties.
Not always in power.
Yeah, the country. So the question has been, why do you have a challenge with it? Of course, the people on the other side then say, why prison sentence for not singing national anthem?
I think what is going on is this wouldn't have been a conversation if we had attained nationhood as a country. But what citizens see with this kind of bill is like, politicians, are you just playing with us? What joke is this? There are more bigger fish to fry, and you're wasting our time with this kind of legislation. People ask, so let me give you a scenario. This is what happens in Nigeria. We have two tabs. One is missing. And then we call everybody that one is missing. Everybody's complaining it's missing. Yet we can't catch who stole. But the fact remains that it has been stolen. Our monies have been stolen by the people that are politically exposed for many years. We haven't seen the level of prosecution and conviction and sentencing to different prisons and all of that. And yet you're bringing this. That is how Nigerians are reacting.
There's a saying where I'm from to buttress that when it says that you've left a bigger illness like leprosy and you're focusing on ringworm.
That's very funny.
That's a very interesting one, right? I'm sure you understand that saying if you read that before.
That's why they were blasting the EFCC chairman, and rightly so. The people want to say they're right, they will blast him rightly so, because they feel that Yahoo boys, as much as they are an embarrassment to the country, embarrassing us with all the things they do, they are not as much of a problem like the political class who are allegedly stealing our money.
But the other side of the debate is that that's how you actually grow in it. So if you don't nip it in the bud, in fact, that's not bud anymore. That has grown into a plant.
Let's tell the EFCC chairman the truth, because that's what we owe him. If you like, arrest 2,000 Yahoo boys.
But corruption is corruption.
Yes.
Whatever the case is.
I'm saying
whether
perception.
big or small.
Yes, perception. You have to look at the people's perception. If you like, arrest 2,000 Yahoo boys every day, and you don't catch the politicians, Nigerians will not be impressed. Let's tell you the truth. That is the truth.
So let the law apply to everyone.
So when they see that Yahya Bello cannot come to court to take a plea, just to take a plea, and you're chasing your boys, they don't see you as serious.
Big issues, we must say. This next user, you've taken Abdulrasheed Ajia. Have you taken that one?
No, I haven't taken
it says it's disturbing that government even considered this in the first place. So let's try to break it down. So this is not really government. This is a lawmaker that considered this. Now, I'm not speaking for government, but it's important to contextualize it. This was by a lawmaker representing a certain people who, incidentally, is a speaker of the House of Representatives. So maybe not government, a lawmaker. The lawmaker may actually be representing this user for all you care. So that's the context. But obviously, the point is
I think I've read that. You have the next one, Kyle.
Yeah, the next one is
Jamiu.
Jamiu says, this is disturbing that as a developing country, our worries resolve around the national anthem, something they themselves can't sing.
I like Daring Day says, our prisons will have to be so filled, including me, because I don't even care to know it beyond the first line. Nigeria will heal thee. Is it me that has been thinking of how my family will survive this harsh economic situation that will now be memorizing new national anthem? Sure.
There you go. So we'll try to capture as much as we can. A busy weekend, obviously, not minding all of the sports and all of that, but we'll take a moment now, but you can keep sending in your messages, videos, questions, #CTV Morning Brief, or on WhatsApp. But we're starting off with the very first conversation today. It concerns security. Why are medical doctors being targeted? Why are medical students being targeted they've been kidnapped. And you wonder, what is going on? We seek to get to the heart of this and get updates on the situation of medical doctors and the medical students that have been kidnapped in different parts of the country. That's our starter, as well as the national security situation in the country, so stay with us.